Just like that, keep it authentic. Just keep it authentic. Yeah, it's like that. Keep it authentic. Just keep it authentic. I'm the one. I'm the one that be giving these bloggers the business. Straight facts, no cap, I just keep it authentic. Breaking down the latest news with an authentic view. If you're spreading false narratives, then we don't fuck with you. Guess I'll be original, not subliminal. Need me on your team for the views, I'm pivotal. Cause all the fake shit is typical. Never been faked, all my DNA is digital. I think it like a 96 5% crossover. Off my home pivot, step back and I crossover. Cause all the fake shit is typical. I'm the one that be giving these bloggers the business. Straight facts, no cap, I just keep it authentic. Breaking down the latest news with an authentic view. If you're spreading false narratives, then we don't fuck with you. Keep it authentic, keep it authentic. Ooh, it's the Keep It Authentic podcast. Keep it authentic, keep it authentic. Woo. It's the Keep It Authentic podcast. Keep it authentic. Hey, Keep It Authentic podcast. Keep it authentic. It's the Keep It Authentic podcast. I'm the one that be giving these bloggers the business. Just keep it authentic. Hey. Just keep it authentic. Hey. Just keep it authentic. I'm the one that be giving these bloggers the business. It's like that. Keep it authentic. Just keep it authentic. I'm the one that be giving these bloggers the business. I'm the one that be giving these bloggers the business. I'm the one that be giving these bloggers the business. I'm the one that be giving these bloggers the business. Yeah. I'm the one. Yeah.
What's poppin'? We back with some more content. Day 6 of the Julio Foolio Trial, man. What's good? How everybody doing today, man? Earlier today, we did a breakdown on day 5, which was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So, what we know thus far, you know what I'm saying, is the other 4 co-defendants in this case, which is Isaiah Chance, Sean Gathright, Rashad, and Davion Murphy. You know, those are the other 4 co-defendants that are currently on trial right now. Alicia Andrews, the 5th co-defendant, she went on trial last year. She was convicted of manslaughter, and she was acquitted on the conspiracy to commit murder charge. And I got to make a correction, because in the last video I did covering day 5, I said that I believed Alicia Andrews had been sentenced already, because her sentence was scheduled for December 8th of last year. But what ended up happening is that, you know, her sentence has been delayed. So she has not been sentenced yet. You know, her sentence was delayed due to the fact that her attorneys filed a writ to remove Judge Kimberly Cisco, I believe was her name. You know what I'm saying? They had her removed due to unbiasedness. You know, they said that, you know, she was biased on the case or whatever. You know, so they filed a motion to have her removed. And there's a new judge by the name of Kimberly Fernandez, I want to say, who has been appointed to take over her sentencing. So her sentencing has been delayed, and it has not been rescheduled as of yet. So she has not been sentenced, so I wanted to make that correction real quick. And like I said, today we covering day 6. Day 6 of the Julio Foolio trial is currently going on right now. So we covering it. We covering it right now as it's going on. But before, you know, we get into this coverage, right? You know, I got a, you know, question, because, okay, I did some research, right? And Kimberly Cisco, the judge that presided over Alicia Andrews' trial. She was removed from Alicia Andrews' case, due to some biasness. Okay, but now she's also the same judge that is presiding over the other 4 defendants. So my question is, okay, if Alicia Andrews had her removed from her case and her attorneys filed motions to remove Judge Cisco from her case due to some biasness, I'm kind of questioning why didn't the other 4 defendants say, hey, nah, we don't want this judge either. She's biased. You know what I'm saying? She already did this to our other co-defendant. Nah, we don't want her. We want a different judge. So I'm kind of questioning why they didn't take that route. Maybe their attorneys felt like, hey, listen, Judge Cisco ain't that bad. You know what I'm saying? She's pretty fair, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But that was a question that I wanted to throw out there, right? Because after I did a little research and I seen that, she was the same judge presiding over the other 4 defendants' cases. I was kind of curious. I'm like, okay, well, why didn't they have her removed from their case either? If she was biased on your co-defendant's case, Alicia Andrews, you don't think that she might, bring forth the same biasness on y'all case? Excuse me, man. I don't know. It felt like some type of lint or hair or something was on my mic. My bad. But like I said, man, we're going to get into this coverage of day 6, and we're going to see what's going on. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the coverage, man.
Okay, very good. Everyone have a seat. Welcome back, members of the jury. While we were on our overnight recess, did anybody speak with anyone about this case, watch, read, listen to any news or social media posts about this case, or investigate this case on their own? See no hands, I take that as a no. Okay, very good. State, who's your next witness?
The state calls officer.
Hey, listen, y'all know when there's trial going on, right? That's one of the stipulations of being a juror, right? You can't go home and discuss the case. You can't do any of your own personal investigation of your own or none of that, right? But do y'all really believe that these people be honestly telling the truth when the judge say, hey, has anybody been, talking about this case or doing any personal investigation? Like, she just asked the juries that. None of them raised their hand. But I don't believe that, man. I believe they be at home talking to their husbands or their wives or their girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever. I believe they be talking to people about this case. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I ain't going for that. But, there's no way to prove that. So, you know what I'm saying? But I just think that that's kind of funny that, nobody raised their hand. And usually that's how it always goes. Nobody ever raises their hand. Nobody ever wants to be honest and admit that, hey, I ain't gonna lie, yeah, I was talking to my wife about it, whoop-de-whoop, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I get it, these people don't want to be kicked off the jury. And, they getting paid to be here. You know what I'm saying? But, I just thought that shit was funny. But let's keep going. I know y'all motherfuckers been talking. And another thing I want y'all to pay attention as we cover this footage, right? I want y'all to pay attention to the demeanors of these defendants that's on trial, right? Because when you be looking at them, a lot of these defendants, they be having the I'm defeated face. Like, they already know, like, yeah, we ain't about to beat this shit, bro. We finna go down. Like I said, Davion Murphy, he the only one that's got a confident look on his face every time the camera show him. Okay, we got an officer taking the stand. First thing. See what you talking about, big dog.
Your Honor, please state your full name for the record.
Justin Legg, L-E-G-G.
What is your position?
I'm an officer with the City of Tampa Police Department.
How long have you been with the Tampa Police Department?
10 years total, 7 sworn.
Back on June 23rd of 2024, where were you assigned?
I was assigned to District 1 midnights as a patrol officer.
And what is the shift for when you're working midnights?
7 p.m. to 6:30 a.m.
On June 23rd of 2024, did you respond to the home to suites located at 11606 McKinley Drive in Tampa, Florida?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you arrive there?
Approximately 5:30 in the morning.
Why did you respond to that location?
I responded there for a call from assistance from other officers regarding a shooting investigation that occurred.
When you got on scene, what were your observations?
I parked my patrol vehicle on Fowler and walked up to the hotel there and made contact with the supervisor.
So there was already law enforcement on scene, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What were you assigned to do in relation to this investigation?
I was requested to go to the hospital, Advent Health, to speak with a victim.
Okay. Did you do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Approximately what time did you get to Advent Hospital?
Approximately 5:45, 6 o'clock.
Were you briefed by deputies as to what was going on at Advent Hospital?
Yes, ma'am. There were 2 Hillsborough County Sheriff's deputies standing out front when I arrived.
And were they arriving because they were notified that there were gunshot wound victims at that location?
Yes, ma'am.
Who did you meet with when you were there?
First, I made contact with the 2 Hillsborough County Sheriff's deputies who were standing with a unidentified black male at the time.
Was that person later identified and made known to you as Typhon McCrae?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you make contact with him?
Yes, ma'am, briefly.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 27. Is that a photograph of the gentleman that you made contact with?
If you're a producer who hates AI, this plugin might change your mind. This is Reimagining CoProducer. You can take any sample you find and flip it into infinite one-of-a-kind variations that are
Receive a firearm that belonged to him?
Yes, ma'am.
Was he cooperative in the investigation?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you conduct any sort of interview with him at that time, or did you just take custody of the firearm?
I just took custody of the firearm.
Did you at some point turn that firearm over to another officer with Tampa Police Department?
Yes, ma'am.
Who did you turn that firearm belonging to Typhon McCrae over to?
If I recall correctly, it was an Officer Sosa.
Officer Sosa. And why did you turn it over to Officer Sosa?
My shift had ended, so I transferred the firearm to him so I could go home.
And is that common when there is a change of shift? If there is another uniformed officer with Tampa Police Department, they can take custody of any sort of evidence that you have in your possession?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's what you did in this case?
Correct.
Your Honor, at this time we would introduce into evidence States Exhibit 30A through E.
The objection?
No objection, Your Honor. No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Wise? Mr. Petridis? Okay, admitted.
And did Officer Sosa, did he also have a Tampa Police Department issued vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to show you States 30A. Do you recognize that?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is 30A a photograph of?
Marked Tampa police car.
And 30B?
That appears to be the front passenger seat of unmarked police car as well.
And is there the firearm that you had located off of Mr. McCrae? Is that shown in this photo?
Yes, ma'am.
And was it stored in a secure Tampa police vehicle until crime scene could come and collect it and impound it and put it into evidence?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll show you 30C. Is that it put in an evidence box?
Yes, ma'am.
And 30D, what is that?
That's the magazine for the firearm.
And does that magazine appear to be fully stocked?
Yes, ma'am.
No bullets missing from this magazine?
No, ma'am.
Then later, after it is secured, is it then made safe and the bullets removed from the magazine in 30E?
Yes, ma'am.
And all that would be standard procedure when you are transferring a firearm over to another officer, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And eventually crime scene investigators with the Tampa Police Department would come, collect it, impound it, and put it in secure evidence at Tampa Police Department, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you also make contact with a female victim that was located at that hospital?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Who was that?
I do not recall her name off the top of my head.
Would you recognize a photograph of her?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you wearing body cam at the time?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
I'm
And
going
it
to
was
show you.
recording.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 28. It's already in evidence. Do you recognize that?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that the female victim that you came in contact with at Advent Hospital on June 23rd of 2024?
Yes, ma'am, it
And
was.
is this a copy, actually a still video photograph, a still shot of the video from your body-worn camera from that day?
Yes, ma'am.
When you came into contact with Miss Bentley, can you describe what her demeanor was at the time of?
She appeared to be distraught from the incident that had occurred and was on her phone.
What type of injuries did the female victim have, Miss Bentley?
I was informed that she had what appeared to be a gunshot wound to her left upper arm.
And were you able to get a full interview from Miss Bentley during this time period?
No, ma'am, I was not.
Okay. And was that because of her demeanor and that she was upset?
Correct.
Your Honor, at this time, we'd pass the witness.
Okay, Mr. Gonzalez?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Officer Legg.
Good morning, sir.
So, Officer Legg, when you arrived at Advent, you testified you came in contact with Mr. McCrae, correct?
Yes, sir.
And was he outside
Yes,
the
sir.
hospital? Mr. McCrae did not provide you information that he was armed. He was asked if he was armed, correct?
Correct.
So it's not as though when you got there, he either handed you a gun or pulled out a gun and gave it to you or advised you that he was armed, correct? He was asked.
Correct.
And when he was asked, he then produced a Glock 23 40 caliber from his waistband, correct?
Yes, sir.
Additionally, he was untruthful about the vehicle and the vehicle's location, wasn't he?
Not that I recall.
That's to hearsay.
Sustained.
Without
Hold on, let me pause it right there for a minute. So see, this is what I was talking about when we was covering day 5. You know, now the attorney that's cross-examining in this officer right here, Officer Legg, I believe that attorney is representing, I want to say either Isaiah Chance or Sean Gaffrey. He's representing one of them. But like I said, what I'm seeing is that these attorneys are essentially trying to minimize the client that they're representing. They're trying to minimize the role in this crime. And like I said, you know, to me, I just feel like that tactic is going to cause these guys to turn on each other. Now, I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm just speculating at this point. But, you know, I just feel like, you know, in the process of you trying to say, okay, well, look, my client didn't participate in this, or he didn't participate in that, or he wasn't there for this, or he wasn't there for that. That's basically saying that, okay, your client wasn't there, but you throwing the rest of them under the bus. So I feel like, you know, at some point, these guys going to get frustrated, and they're going to be like, yo, man, like, what the fuck is your attorney doing? Like, he trying to, you know, say you wasn't this and you wasn't that, but he throwing us under the bus. Like, what the fuck going on? So I just think, you know, the tactic that the defense attorneys is using, I don't know. I just see that shit backfiring on them. But let's keep going.
telling us what he said, did he give you an explanation of his vehicle, the Nissan Altima, and its location?
Can you repeat your question for me?
without telling us what he said, did Mr. McCrae, when asked, give you an explanation of a vehicle that he owned and where it was located?
Yes, sir.
And it was not located on the scene of the hospital where the victim arrived, Ms. Bentley, to be treated, correct?
No, sir.
It was somewhere else.
Correct.
Did you investigate that explanation as to why the vehicle was there and who took it there?
Not in great detail, no.
So you would not know the circumstances under which it was at that location and why?
At which location?
At the location where it was found as opposed to the hospital.
Correct.
Okay, let me start right there for a minute. I'm not really understanding like what prudence that question plays into this trial, because that's almost like saying, okay, look, a homie of mine or a friend of mine gets shot, you know what I'm saying, and I just happen to drive him to the hospital, drop him all, and roll out, you know what I'm saying, take my car, go park it at a friend crib, and then maybe go back to the hospital just to check up on my homie, make sure everything good. I mean, there ain't no crime in that. So I'm not understanding, you know, why is it such importance that, you know, okay, he took her to the hospital in his car, but then, you know, his car was found somewhere else. I mean, what importance does that play into the case? I'm not really understanding that. But, you know, hey, I'm not an attorney, so he may have an angle that he going with, you know, by asking that question. But let's keep going.
I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Sonardi?
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Wise?
No questions.
Mr. Petridis?
No questions.
Okay, very good. Redirect?
Just briefly, Your Honor. Officer Legg, Mr. Taifa McCrae was asked about a firearm, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he lie to you and suggest to you that he did not have a firearm?
No, ma'am.
What happened when asked that question?
He stated that he had provided the firearm to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's deputies there.
And that was turned over to you, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
As far as responding to that scene to take statements, you were notified that Camilla Bentley was a gunshot victim, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And as far as where Mr. McCrae's car was, law enforcement was taken to where his car was by Mr. McCrae, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that was a apartment complex off Gates Drive?
Yes, ma'am.
Other members from Tampa Police Department responded to that location and processed that vehicle, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I have nothing further, Judge.
Okay, may this witness be excused?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, next witness.
The state calls crime scene investigator Calderaro.
Like, I think he the dumbest one of the whole motherfucking case. This nigga was still riding around with the same motherfucking gun parts of the gun that he used in the crime, allegedly. Lord have mercy.
Tired of having to stream in 720p in StreamYard or having to pay more to get 1080p quality? We got you.
Look at his face. He got the undefeated look. he trying to play it cool, but that nigga know deep down inside, he like, man, we cooked.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this class will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, I do.
And there's a lot of officers and detectives involved in this shit. Well, I mean, you gotta understand, it's two different
state your
states,
record.
two different cities.
Yes, my name
You got
is
Jacksonville
Carrie Lynn
and Tampa.
Calderaro.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a crime scene technician.
How long have you been a crime scene technician?
It'll be about 13 years this summer.
And what sort of training do you receive in order to become a crime scene technician?
I have a bachelor's in criminal justice along with a crime scene certificate, along with hands-on training once hired.
And do you work alongside homicide detectives when you are responding to a homicide scene?
Yes.
This particular investigation back on June 24th of 2024, were you asked to respond to Tampa General Hospital in order to photograph and document some victims who had been shot?
Yes.
Did you make contact with a person later identified to you as Xavier Edwards?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time we'd introduce into evidence States Exhibit 26A through E.
Okay, any objection, Mr. Gonzalez?
No objection.
Mr. Sonardi?
No objection.
Mr. Wise? Mr. Petridis? Okay, admitted.
And did you take several photographs of Mr. Edwards while he was in the hospital to try to document as best you can, given his condition, the injuries that he had received?
Yes.
I'm going to show you States Exhibit 26A. What is in 26A?
This is just showing the individual as I arrived in the trauma bay.
And what was the condition of this individual while you were trying to take these photographs?
From what I can recall, I know that he was only able to lay on his one side, and he was bandaged in some areas as well.
And was he trying to assist as best you can for you to take these photographs?
From what I can recall, yes.
26B.
This is just a close-up to just show his face.
26C.
This is just a close-up of one of his hands.
26D.
Again, just another close-up of his hands.
And then 26E.
This is an attempt to show his back along with, as you can see, his upper arm that is bandaged.
Did you also meet with a person identified to you as Gino Norris?
Yes.
And did you do the same thing with Mr. Norris, go to his hospital room and take photographs of him trying to document his injuries?
Yes, I did.
After you were done at the Tampa General Hospital, did you respond to another location as part of your assignment in this case?
Yes, I did.
What location did you respond to?
That location was Gates Drive.
Was there an apartment complex at that location?
Yes, it was.
And were you directed there specifically to take photographs of a black Nissan vehicle that law enforcement had directed you that needed to be processed?
Yes.
At this time, I'm going to introduce into evidence States Exhibit 29A through R.
Okay, any objection, Mr. Gonzalez?
No objection.
Mr. Sonardi?
No objection.
Mr. Wise? Mr. Petridis? Admitted? Oh, it's already been admitted.
It has, I apologize. Yes, it
What
has.
the clerk says.
It has. CSI Calderero, what is in 29A?
And can you work on the focus? Maybe it's just my bad vision, but it appears to be a little fuzzy.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
This is basically the exterior of one of the apartment buildings, showing also the vehicle that is in the parking lot.
And is this that Gates address that you said that you responded to?
Yes.
And was there damage to this particular vehicle?
Yes, there was.
And did you try to document and record through photographs all of the damage that was done to this particular vehicle?
Yes, anything that I saw that looked to be damaged, I did photograph.
Tell us what is in 29B.
This is the driver's side of that vehicle, just showing from the front to back of that car.
$29D.
This is just showing the rear windshield.
Okay. And is there damage that you were trying to specifically show in this photograph?
Yes.
And would that be these two bullet holes right here in the rear windshield?
Yes.
29C.
This is still the rear of the vehicle, now just focusing in on the trunk along with being able to show the make, model, and the tag as well.
E.
This will be the driver's side front bumper heading towards the quarter panel as well.
Okay. And was there damage to that area?
Yes.
Is that depicted right along here where you can kind of see the broken glass in the front light area?
Yes, you can start seeing it in that photo.
29F.
This is just moving along from the front bumper, going more towards the tire and the quarter panel where you can see a little bit more of the damage.
And can you just describe for the record and for the jury what is the damage that you are documenting in 29F?
I noticed that the tail light's a little broken along with the bumper hanging off. There's damage above the tire well as along with the hood you can see is a little bit askew as well.
You're referring to this, right?
Yes.
She said tail light. I think she meant to say headlight.
29G.
This just is moving along the driver's side. There's a little bit of damage to the driver's side door along with as well as the driver's side mirror that you can see.
29H.
This is continuing along the driver's side again. Now you can see a little bit more damage on the driver's side door leading into the rear driver's side door as well.
29I.
This is continuing to the rear driver's side door where you can still see more damage moving along towards the rear tire.
Do you also document the interior of the vehicle?
Yes, once I take photos of exterior, we will move interior.
I'm going to show you 29J. What is that a photograph of?
This is just an overall going into the interior driver's side.
And in this particular photograph, 29J, is there, and I'm going to zoom it up a little bit, was there anything else of significance that you wanted to document?
Yes, I noticed that there was some red substance along the driver's side of the center console, along with an item on the floor that had some red substance, and the top of the center console as well.
Whenever you have a red substance that could be blood, do you do other processing of the vehicle?
Yes.
What do you do?
Once all my photos were taken, I did go about and swab those areas as well for collection.
And why are you swabbing those areas?
Basically for potential DNA further down the road.
How do you do that?
We have sterile cotton tips that we moisten with distilled water, and then I go ahead and run it along that area for swabbing. And place it into a carton and then submit that into evidence.
Do you know whether or not the person who had bled in that vehicle had been identified yet?
No.
Do you try to preserve all evidence in case it may be needed to be sent to the lab later after a determination is made by the case detective?
Yes.
So you try to collect everything you possibly can from a vehicle, structure, or location that may be relevant?
Yes.
29K. Actually, I gotta get all of that in there.
My bad.
This is just an overall of the center console, focusing in a little bit more to where you can see the red substance.
And where is the red substance that you can see?
You can see a lot of it around the gear shift area, throughout the coins, again along the driver's side of that center console.
And then 29L.
This is the rear passenger side bumper area of that car.
And was there damage to this area as well?
Yes.
And can you tell the jury where the damage was to this particular back of the car?
Yes, there was a little striation mark on the rear bumper area that I noticed, along with what looked like the bottom of the bumper was a little askew as well.
29M, a close-up of that striation mark that was on that rear bumper?
Yes.
What is in 29N?
This is another perspective, basically showing the front side of that driver's side mirror. And this is the front of the windshield.
Did you notice damage to the front of the windshield?
Yes.
Did you take close-ups of the damage to the front of the windshield?
Yes.
And are you referring to this mark kind of to the left of center of the windshield?
Yes.
29P, what is that?
That is moving in onto that same area on the windshield.
Too quiet? Turn your sound from 100% to 600% with Volume Max. Just hit Add to Chrome.
Same area with adding a scale as well.
Do you also check the interior vehicle for any documentation to the potential owner?
Yes.
29R, was that recovered from the vehicle?
Yes.
And the person listed there is a Tafa Changa McCrae, is that correct?
Correct.
Did you also search the entire interior of that vehicle?
Yes, I began to start searching once my photos were taken.
Was there anything else of significance that was found in that vehicle?
Yes, during that time I did again collect multiple areas for swabbing along with some items that were later to be processed for DNA and possible latent prints.
Okay. And
All right, look, let me stop right here for a minute. Let me put this out there, right? The prosecution on this case, they doing a hell of a job. They going through this evidence with a fine-tooth comb to where it's like you see that, you know, when they ask these attorneys, hey, do y'all want to cross-examine? Like the first officer they had on the stand, Officer Legg, right? Only one attorney cross-examined him. And like some of the questions he asked, I didn't really understand why he asked those questions. But now, like, none of the other attorneys cross-examined him, you know, and it's like, you know, listen, when you have so much evidence weighing against you, right? Like, it's almost like them attorneys is sitting there in court and they listening to this and they like, damn, like, what the hell can we say about this? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell can we say to refute this evidence? You know what I'm saying? Now, the person that she is, this officer right here, the person that she's testifying to, he was a victim. You know, Tafa McCrae, he was a victim in this. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I mean, I guess that's probably why they're not really cross-examining her, because it really doesn't pertain to the client that they're defending. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but I just think that I just wanted to throw that out there, man. Like, the prosecution on this case, they really mapped this shit out. You know what I'm saying? And they going through this shit with a fine-tooth comb. But let's continue.
all of that would have been in a report and turned over to the detectives, is that correct?
Correct.
Did you have assistance processing this vehicle?
Yes, I did.
Was there a firearm that was recovered from this vehicle?
That was, if it was done later by that crime scene tech.
There was another one that was assisting you, is that correct?
Yes.
At some point, were you directed to an individual later known to you as Tafa McCrae?
Yes, I was.
And had he been at the Advent Hospital at the other location?
I don't recall if he was at that location. I know that he was at the location that I was.
Gates Drive, that apartment complex where you were photographing the vehicle that we just looked at, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. At some point, were you asked or directed by Detective Aaron Campbell to retrieve a consensual buccal swab?
Yes.
And what is that?
Basically a buccal swab using the same type of cotton swabs that I described earlier to obtain DNA off an item. Those are placed inside the cheeks of an individual to obtain their DNA for future comparison.
And he was willing to provide that to you?
Yes.
And you did collect that, take that, and put it in evidence for, again, a detective to determine later if it needed to be processed for any type of evidence, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you also, when processing the interior of that vehicle, find any spent shell casings?
No, I did not.
So no indications that anybody had fired a gun from the interior of that vehicle, is that correct?
Correct.
Did you do anything else in reference to this investigation?
Nope, I only responded to those 2 locations.
Your Honor, at this time we'd pass the witness.
Okay, Mr. Gonzalez,
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Zanardi?
Very briefly, Judge.
Sure.
Good morning. Is it Calderaro?
Calderero.
Calderaro, I apologize.
It's okay.
Officer Calderaro, as I understand it, obviously you responded to TGH and took some photos and attempted to interview 2 individuals at Tampa General Hospital, correct?
I'm actually a crime scene technician. I did respond to TGH, but that is not part of my job description to do interviews.
All right. As a crime scene, are you a crime scene investigator? Is that correct?
Our title is a crime scene technician.
Technician. Is there a distinction between a crime scene investigator and a crime scene technician?
Just for us, for Tampa Police, we are deemed crime scene technicians.
All right. Are you familiar with what's known as a gunshot residue test?
Yes.
All right. Do you know whether or not there were, obviously you've testified that a weapon was found in the vehicle, correct?
I was not there when a weapon was found in the vehicle. No.
You're aware that there was a weapon found in the vehicle, correct?
Yes.
Do you know whether or not any of the individuals that occupied the vehicle were tested for gunshot residue?
No, when I was there, I did not do any gunshot residue tests on anybody on the scene at Gates Drive.
And so that the jury is clear, what is a gunshot residue test?
It is for us, we have pre-made kits. It comes with a pair of gloves along with 2 vials that have like a sponge leg at the tip of each one for each hand. You go along and basically will dab it around the hand of the right and left, pretty much on the outside and around the palm. And then that can be later submitted to a lab for testing.
And what's the purpose of that test?
To basically see if there's any gunshot residue that can be obtained after firing a weapon or even being sometimes close proximity to one.
All right. That would be a test to determine whether or not somebody fired a weapon, correct?
Yes, in general, yes.
And to your knowledge, those tests were never done, correct?
No, I did not do anything, so I don't know if anything else was done like that.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Wise?
No questions.
Mr. Petridis? Redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor.
Okay, may this witness be excused?
Yes, she may.
All right, thank you. Free to go. All right, who's your next witness?
Judge, we will call Officer Surratt.
He know he cooked. That's what I was saying. Pay attention to the demeanor, man. Look, he know he cooked. Every time the camera show him, he just got this look on his face like, damn. I should have just said the hell with this shit, man. Let them niggas do it.
You may proceed.
Please state your full name for the record.
My name is Diana Grace Surratt.
How long, where are you employed?
I am at the University of South Florida Police Department.
And how long have you been with the University of South Florida Police Department?
I'm going on 3 years now.
Prior to working at the USF Police Department, what did you do?
I worked in forensics at the Dade City Police Department for approximately 6 or 7 years.
Were you working on June 23rd of 2024?
I was.
Where were you at approximately 4:40 a.m. in the early morning hours of June 23rd of 2024?
I was conducting a traffic stop on North 50th and Fowler Avenue.
What sort of vehicle do you drive back then on June 23rd of 2024?
A marked patrol vehicle.
And that would have lights and sirens, is that correct?
That's correct.
You said that you were doing a traffic stop.
Correct.
Who were you at that location? Were you with other fellow officers with the USF Police Department?
I was with Corporal Adams and Officer Fusco.
What kind of traffic stop were you at around 4:40 a.m. that morning?
It was just for us, a routine traffic stop. I was actually called to assist Officer Fusco on that stop. We had a vehicle that we were almost finished up with it. So we were there, my lights were activated, we were kind of in the median area, and we were getting ready to leave, but my lights were still activated at this time.
How many USF policed vehicles were there?
There was 2 of us at this time.
And when we say USF police vehicles, can you describe how they're marked?
Yeah, they're like any other police vehicle. They say USF on the side. They have the lights on the top of them. There's lights on the back, lights on the front. It's very apparent that they are a police emergency vehicle.
And you said your lights were on, is that correct? They had been activated during that traffic stop?
That's correct.
Is that because you were in the median of the street?
That's correct.
Was there any other officer vehicle with the lights activated?
Parents of children who play Roblox. If your child was sexually exploited, abused, or pressured to share
Almost done with that vehicle stop, correct?
That's correct.
What happened at the end of that traffic stop?
So as we're wrapping that traffic stop up, another vehicle at a very high rate of speed comes up to us. There's 3 occupants that get out of that vehicle yelling and screaming. One of the females I remember appeared to be really scared. They were talking about a shooting, but they were all talking at the same time.
After how many people got out of that vehicle that came up to you?
There was 2 black females and a black male. There were 3 altogether.
What type of vehicle was it?
It was a darkened colored car.
At 4:40 a.m. in the morning, is still dark out?
Yes.
So after they got out screaming, what happened?
They ended up getting back into their vehicle and going back in the direction that they had came from. We, at that point, followed them to the hotel.
And what hotel was that?
The Home to Suite Hotel.
How far was it from the traffic stop where you were at to the hotel, Home to Suites, and that Holiday Inn?
I can't give you an exact location. I just know it's outside of our jurisdiction, and we have a square that we're in. You have the University of South Florida. You have Fowler Avenue, Fletcher Avenue, North 50th Street, and Bruce B. Downs. We're inside of that square, and we have 1,000 feet outside. So it was over 1,000 feet.
And that area you described, that's the property of the University of South Florida and surrounding area, is that correct?
Where we were at, that was within our jurisdiction, yes.
And so USF is very close to that Home to Suites and that Holiday Inn, is that correct?
It is.
Approximately how much time did it take to you to get from the traffic stop to that Home to Suites?
Just a few minutes.
When you arrived at Home to Suites, were there other first responding law enforcement arriving simultaneously or somewhat before you?
Yeah, there was a few of them that arrived before me, but for the most part, we were all kind of arriving at the same time within minutes of each other.
What occurred when you got
When I got there, I exited my vehicle. We started to set up the perimeter to kind of mark off where there was a crime scene. I seen a black Charger, but then I also seen a female coming to me. She identified herself to me later as Turner. Gave me her date of birth. She's crying, screaming, yelling. I couldn't make out a lot of what she was saying other than she was concerned about her boyfriend who was possibly still in the car. She described to me what her boyfriend was wearing. So I
want to stop you right there. What did she say he was wearing?
She said he was wearing red and white clothing.
Excuse me, hearsay, what's the hearsay exception?
Judge, this is an excited utterance. She's clearly described the woman's demeanor and that they had just come from a shooting, and so and we've established the timeline that this occurred right after the traffic stop where they were screaming within minutes when they are back at the scene.
Okay, overrule the objection. Go ahead.
So she told me he was wearing red shorts, a white shirt, and he had on a hat. So at that point, I walked over to the vehicle to see if the individual inside, or if there was an individual inside, which there was, and he was wearing what was described to me.
At that point, there were also members of the Tampa Police Department on scene.
There was.
Was there a sergeant there that started to direct his officers into a building?
Yes.
Was there a blood trail that was near the scene of that black Charger where you had seen?
There was.
And were they going into the direction of the hotel where that blood trail was leading to?
It appeared to be, yes.
Were members of the USF Police Department, were they tasked at that point with standing by with those victims? Is that correct?
That's correct.
You said you had only made contact with the one that had identified herself as Turner. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And she also identified that that was her boyfriend that was in the Dodge Charger.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
When you went to confirm the clothing description that she had provided to you, were there any signs of life of that individual that was matching the clothing description in the black Dodge Charger?
There was not.
How close were those three occupants of that gray vehicle that you had followed over from the traffic stop? Was that vehicle parked in relation to the black Charger?
Probably from where I'm sitting to the window back there. They were kind of close.
And were those two females, the one, Miss Turner, and the other one that you did not know or make contact with, and the black male, were they in that same distance as you were and able to see the black Charger before they had been interviewed by law enforcement?
Yes.
And you have described the demeanor of Miss Turner. Can you describe the demeanor of the other female that was there as well?
It was the same as Miss Turner's. They all appeared scared. They were yelling. They were very frantic, trying to get their point across that something had happened, and they were concerned about the individual inside of the Charger.
Did USF Police Department officers have body-worn cameras?
We do.
Okay. Was yours not activated until you got on scene at the Home to Suites?
Yeah, mine, so we were concluding the traffic stop. Once we conclude any type of scene that we're doing, we normally turn our cameras off. When they arrived, everything happened so fast, I didn't turn my camera back on until I arrived at the hotel.
And you said one of the other responding officers to the Home to Suites was Officer Fusco, is that correct?
That's correct.
He also was at that traffic stop with you just prior to the gray vehicle showing up, is that correct?
That's correct.
He also has body-worn camera?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, let's stop right there for a minute. Okay, now you heard what that line of question she just asked, right, about the body cam footage. Now, how much you willing to bet that one of these defense attorneys, at least one, is going to use the fact that she didn't turn her body cam on until she got to the hotel where this incident happened at? I'm almost positive that one of these attorneys is going to use that statement right there and try to poke holes all through that. You know, now, I'm not a cop, I'm not an investigator, I'm not a detective, you know what I'm saying? So, but I also can understand in the heat of the moment when things is happening like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't believe an officer, you know, is really focused on, you know, turning their body camera on, right? So, you know what I'm saying? If she's concluding a traffic stop, right, which she's testified to, she said she was concluding her traffic stop when these, you know, girls ran up on her frantically, you know, yelling and screaming, trying to get her attention, explain to her what's going on. I don't think that in that moment she was concerned or she had the time to say, oh, let me turn my body camera footage on. So, but like I said, I'm almost willing to bet one of them attorneys, one of these defense attorneys is going to try to use that, you know, and poke holes in that. But I don't really think it's going to work. Let's keep going.
And was his activated still at the tail end of the traffic stop when the gray vehicle first comes on scene?
Yes.
to the median where you were at the traffic stop.
I believe his was still activated.
And prior to coming to court this morning, did we ask you to look at State's Exhibit 146, a DVD showing the traffic stop and then the route to the home to suites?
Yes.
And does that, Officer Fusco, viewing that, does that fairly and accurately depict both the end of the traffic stop that occurred as well as following the vehicle to the home to suites and first arrival on scene?
It does.
Your Honor, at this time, we'd introduce into evidence State's Exhibit 146.
Okay, any objection, Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes, Judge, we would object. Could we approach?
Sure.
Okay, here they go with the mutant shit. They don't want you to know what the attorney and the judge is talking about.
I would just lock it up.
And Officer Surratt, is this where you are at the median with Officer Fusco at the tail end of this traffic stop with an unrelated person? Is that correct?
That's correct.
I used to say, if I hear AI one more time, I'm gonna lose it. But Monday.com is super easy.
I'm going to stop it right there. And I know that he is not right next to him, to the individuals who get out of the vehicle. Is that correct?
That's correct.
But in the background, can you hear what you were describing when that vehicle first pulls up and those three individuals jump out of the vehicle and they're screaming and upset? Is that correct?
That's correct, yes, I can.
Eventually, they give you and Officer Fusco enough information, but what do they do?
They get back in their vehicle and start driving back in the direction.
And can you note the timestamp when this is occurring, when you can first hear them on scene?
0441 hours.
Fast forward it. Oh, hold on, let me go back. Officer Surratt, are you in the hotel parking lot at this point?
Yes, I'm directly behind this vehicle and my vehicle. I followed him over to the hotel.
you said Tampa Police Department was already there?
Yes.
And is that one of the vehicles from the Tampa Police Department?
The one in front of us, it appears to be. It's not one of ours.
And Officer Surratt, eventually in this video, can you be seen going in front of his camera view?
I can be, yes.
And where are you responding when you go in front of his camera view?
I am walking towards the where the initial incident took place.
And is that all located somewhat off into the distance of where this camera is located?
Yes.
Is that you right there walking towards where they are?
That is.
Again, even though the camera is far, can you then again still hear off in the distance Ms. Turner?
I can, yes.
And were you able to see and identify her off in the video?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time we pass the witness.
Mr. Gonzalez?
One second, Your Honor, please.
Okay, they get ready to excuse this witness. So after they excuse this witness, we're going to stop it right there. We're probably going to pick up with the second half of this
No questions, Your Honor.
later on.
Mr. Sonardi?
Like I said, these
Mr. Wise?
courtroom videos, they be long as hell.
Very good. May this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Free to go.
Thank you.
All right, who's your next witness? David.
All right, so we're going to stop it right there. Like I said, these videos, these court videos of this trial footage, they be long as hell, bro. Some of these joints be 3, 4, 5 hours long. I am not finna sit here with y'all for 5 hours going through this whole footage. You know, so we're going to stop it right here, you know, with them excusing this officer. You know, we'll probably, like I said, we'll probably pick up the second half of this later on today at some point. You know what I'm saying? But that was the coverage of day 6, and that's currently going on right now as we speak. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, you know, from what we know so far, the only person that's been convicted of anything has been Alicia Andrews. You know what I'm saying? She's been convicted. She was convicted of manslaughter. You know, she was acquitted on the conspiracy charge. And, you know, she was scheduled to be sentenced on December 8th of last year. However, that sentence has been delayed due to her attorneys filing a motion to remove the judge, which ironically is the same judge that's presiding over this case. So with that being said, man, like I said, we're probably going to pick up on the second half of this and go over some more footage and see some more testimony from whatever witnesses they're going to call. But that has been day 6, you know what I'm saying, which is currently going on right now. And with that being said, man, it's your boy Blanco with another video. It's the Keep It Authentic podcast.